Hi, my name is Brian Hughes. I'm the program director here at the College of Golf, Kaiser University, and also PGA Master Professional. What I'm going to spend a few minutes with you on today is kind of introducing and showing to you the capabilities of one of our biggest and best teaching devices here at the College of Golf, and that's the MAT system from TaylorMade Golf. The MAT system, MAT stands for Motion Analysis Technology by TaylorMade. And probably the simplest and best explanation I can give for it is it's like an MRI for your golf swing. Typical video gives you two dimensions, and you'll typically see two angles, a down the line angle, face-on angle of a player's golf swing. Well, what this technology does through some 3D cameras, we put our students in a reflective suit, use golf clubs with reflectors on them and tools of that nature, is we were able to create an image like what you see here on the screen of a three-dimensional individual so that we can look at that player and his golf swing from every possible angle, from behind, face on, underneath, on top, to really give us a great overview of the golf swing. What I've got on here now is a comparison of one of our students that we've had on our system here. In addition to the individual in red is a composite model of tour players. That's tour players who have been on the system, which we use basically as a guide for who is the model to follow. So what we can do with this is really show individually what a player may need to do to improve aspects of his golf swing. From everything from address to top of backswing, we can follow the golf club. We can measure body parts, measure impact position, so it really is a full system for diagnosis of a player's faults and hopefully his strengths as well. What you see here is basically the side-by-side comparison, and as I mentioned before, we have our student here on the left, and as we start the golf club back, we're able to just look at the swing from different positions from midway back, and at this point this is a great way to kind of compare either side by side or face on, as we saw. We put them in from behind. We can compare the different positions at this point and really watch what the golf club is doing and what the body is doing to put the golf club in the proper positions through the swing. So once again, we see at the top of the backswing, the tour player in this particular instance has made a lot fuller golf swing as opposed to our student, a little short with the length of the backswing. From there, we're able to bring him on down through, check different positionings, and do some compare and contrast to the players. So if I was working with this student right now, we'd want to make sure that he was at the top of his backswing, getting behind the golf ball a little bit better, making a little fuller swing so that he could get the most out of his golf swing. One of the most interesting or best impact or aspects of the system is to be able to check out impact position as well, the most important aspect of the golf swing. What's going on at the moment when the club meets the golf ball. Here we see the tour player has made a full rotation through. We see his hips have rotated through. The golf club is essentially back where it started. It's a little bit higher in this case, being a driver, as opposed to our player here who has not turned his hips as much as he needed to. He isn't really using his body to full capacity. So it really becomes an issue there of what do we want to look at, what becomes the student's biggest flaw. If I turn this around to a face-on perspective, and now we can look at what the golf club is doing as the golf club goes back. And as I mentioned, our player is a little shorter arc, and what we see here is a very good visual of that. The yellow represents where the golf club traveled on the backswing, and when we start the golf club down, you're going to see that the color changes to red to show the different transition aspects of the swing. While in this case, both players have done a really good job, obviously the tour player has, of getting the club going down. Our player is a little out of balance and has lost a lot of his power at the moment of impact. How do we know that? Well, another great feature here is to be able to actually measure the impact position of the golf club and player when he strikes the golf ball. We measure it numerically, we can see the illustrations, and this particular issue here, the tour player on the right has launched the golf ball at an angle of about 10.2 degrees, which corresponds with the angle on the golf club. The driver averages about 10 degrees aloft. Our student who hits the ball has some distance issues. We see that he's got the golf club back and at the moment of impact is almost twice as high loft. What does that mean? That means higher shot, that means less distance. So with the same golf club, so we've got a problem. We've got a player here turning his driver into essentially a 5-wood, and it's not going to go as far as a result of that. So a real quick overview of what the system is capable of. And one of the benefits of using the system is not just to be able to see what they're doing visually, but numerically measure. So when we get him back in here, we're able to see, here's the numbers you were producing before. Let's make a couple changes to set up backswing positions, whatever it is the instructor and the student feel is necessary, and then measure improvement, which is obviously one of the goals of the game, to make some numbers look better so we can make the final score definitely look better.